What is up, guys? Today I'm doing a Borderlands 3 DLC boss tier list, and we got 4 DLCs we got to get through today. And I know you're probably thinking one thing: why don't I just do all this in one video, just kind of get done over with? Well, honestly, I was thinking, hey, there's more content to be made for Borderlands 3, and plus the video would be just way too long for my first one, just because there's also like maybe 4 to 5 different bosses in each DLC. But today we're going to start on this DLC, which is the Handsome Jack's Jackpot one. And coming at number 4 is this weird beacon robot. Now, me personally, I think a constructor could have done a lot better on damaging me, getting me down, or even making me respawn. But this one is just lacking, just because the design is just so simple. I said a constructor can do its job. But besides that, it's not super hard, it's not crazy, it's just looks weird. And for these other reasons, I'll just have to put this at number 4 because it's not a creative boss. But guys, let me know who's your favorite boss throughout each DLC, or just let me know who your favorite boss in general in Borderlands 3. And just don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow me so you get more content of Borderlands and different things, because I do other things other than Borderlands. I got a new video coming out that's more than just Borderlands, so gotta stick around for that. But yet again, I'm gonna re-say this is why it's at the bottom, just because a constructor could do its job. Super boring, nothing special. So let's go ahead and talk about himself, Pretty Boy in the mech. Now, the mech is interesting enough to make it a better boss than Beacon. I like how it's just a like super tall Handsome Jack robot. I do like this fight. It's not too crazy difficult. I do like the different modes it goes in, because each time you defeat him, the robot has to recharge and gets either armor back, but the last time you do it, he does take Pretty Boy's blood and put it into itself, which makes it a lot easier just for fire weapons to be involved. But besides that, not too difficult, not too crazy. Yeah, so that's why this boy here, him and his mech, is at number 3. And if you guys have any comments on my rankings, just let me know in the comments, because I know sometimes I can get them wrong or interesting. But at number 2 spot, where it's going to be Freddy and his 2 robots. Now, I like Freddy. Wish he didn't become an enemy. He's just kind of goofy. I like the way he dresses. It kind of reminds me of like an 80s style look or early 90s. But Freddy was kind of easy because my guy just threw a fastball grenade and he just perished super fast. Unfortunately, Freddy couldn't show off his skills in this one. But Freddy is at number 2 for the first DLC, and at number 1 today is going to be the Scraptraps. Now, why did I pick Scraptrap? Just because it's an interesting fight, because you have a whole bunch of them coming after you, hitting you with like metal pipes and different scrap metal that they find in the dump. I'm just surprised like so many are still working after the Great Purge of the Claptraps. But yeah, I like this fight, even though it's just a whole bunch of them. At the end of this, you do fight one giant one, and it's kind of funny to see like it being a tribe leader of all the Claptraps. So yeah, and plus they also drop their own ammo and different loot if you're lucky. Besides that, I'll just have to say this is my number 1 spot for the first DLC, which is the Jackpot DLC. So we're gonna shortly switch over to the second one, which is the one with Hammerlock and Wainwright. This one is a little interesting. I'm not talking bad about any of the DLC. I love all the DLC. My favorite ones are the Jackpot and the Krieg one. So let's go ahead without further ado. For this one, we have number 4 is this annoying little dude who just makes me mad, just because. So let me explain. When you get in more to a little less than half health, you goes into the middle, and then he regains health, but you have to shoot these 4 crystals. Later on, you'll have to do this again, which unfortunately they put him out somewhere in one of these 4 corners of this map, and he's like off the map. So you have to jump on these platforms, or if you have a really good aim, you can just shoot him from a distance, which I did struggle a little bit with that. And at one point I did get on the platforms and I fell off and had to redo this fight. And I absolutely despise this guy for those reasons. Besides that, he's not super hard, just very annoying. And then on to the third boss here. And I will say this again later on in this video. This guy is just someone you could find as a normal person. It's not even, he doesn't have any special abilities besides, you know, putting a shield around him that makes him invincible for a little bit while Death Trap shoots it off of him. I don't like those kind of bosses. I think it's just lazy writing. I wish they did a little bit more with that kind of boss, but unfortunately not. So it's just a super beefed up normal dude with more health and a little bit more damage. That's why he's at number 3. Now, at number 2, you might be surprised, is the main boss of this. Eleanor in the Heart. I never thought I would say the sentence, but fighting a old lady who has mystical powers and a giant heart that has tentacles and spikes coming out of it, I don't think I would have ever said that sentence in my life. But surprisingly, well, not really surprisingly, Borderlands 3 brings out that kind of content for us, and I love it so much. But this one's not that difficult. Eleanor just kind of goes away after you damage her, and then you have to fight the heart that you'll see here in about a few seconds or something like that. It will spawn spikes, and that's kind of its critical hit point. But super easy if you have like high damage weapons or like an explosive. As you can see here, I have this doll weapon that shoots flying skulls that explode, and that's probably my best weapon I had throughout this DLC. Yeah, just super easy fight. I like the design of the heart, and just like the thought of fighting a heart. I don't know why, but Eleanor does come back later, and then you fight her. So I want to talk about number 1 spot for this DLC. It's actually the Windigo. I don't know if you guys know anything about Wendigos or anything like that. I just like the design of this creature. Plus, you don't really see much creatures like this in this DLC. It's kind of unique. It's kind of interesting. As I said, I love the design. The weird spot for its critical hit is on its stomach, if you did not know that. But fire coming out of its horns, and then yeah, it just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I just really like this boss, even though it does kick my butt a few times. I'm not afraid of a challenge or anything like that, but it just really takes the number 1 spot for this DLC. Plus, also what helps is that Hammerlock's here. He helps you up, and that's just so cool. I love it. So at least you don't have to waste your your clone for Zane or kill little enemies. You at least can focus on the boss while Hammerlock revives you. So for these reasons, he is going at the number 1 spot of this DLC, the Windigo. Hopefully you guys agree with me. I don't know, it's just the design of it, and it's everything about this fight I enjoy. Besides, getting my butt kicked. But besides that, guys, we're gonna go ahead and start on our next DLC, which is the cowboy one, where you get to fight a whole bunch of cowboys. Now, this is where I said I was gonna say the same points for this boss. This boss is just something you could find out just exploring the map. You could find this enemy anywhere. As I said, just super lazy writing. I don't like it. It just, I don't know, it just irritates my soul that they just use a common creature, buff it up, and just say, oh, here, take this as a boss. I don't like it. So that's why it's going at number 5. Now, this one I thought was pretty cool, just because you get to fight a mech that's kind of like Moe's, and there's not very much mechs that you find in this game. And the quartermaster, he's kind of a pushover, so don't even worry about this guy. He's just boring dude on a rocket turret. But I do like the mech because if you don't constantly damage it, it will regenerate health and then come back. Kind of like that. It's kind of different. It's kind of interesting to see. As I said, the quartermaster is pretty easy to defeat. But as long as you defeat the quartermaster before the health goes back up on the mech, you win this fight. So yeah, this one is actually not bad. All right, and then let's talk about Rose. Rose was pretty easy to fight. But I do like her like movements she does. I do like her ability where she just like has a blade swinging around her doing a whole bunch of damage. But Rose wasn't that crazy of a fight. She died pretty easily on this. Maybe, and yet again, I do have my difficulty set to normal. And now this is number 2 spot. Even though maybe you could count Rose and this boss being the same, since they're in the same area. I don't know, but I like this. I really do like this boss. It's very different. If it's, sorry, I'm stuttering a lot. It's like if you took a crab and a bug, like a turtle, and put it to one. This is what you get. This is what the baby comes out to be. Now, as you just saw there, the critical hit spots are the crystals on the back, kind of just like the heart from Hammerlock DLC. But it does do a lot of damage if you step in that nice green beam of death. Besides that, the fight wasn't that hard. Just hit the crystals and you're good. As I said, a lot of these bosses in this in all the DLCs are kind of based off of looks. I know that's probably weird to say, but I kind of just like the look of some of these bosses, especially this one right here, which is at the number 1 spot, which I'm sure no one would be like, hey, why is this guy at number 1? And maybe have like 3 reasons why. Because first off, he's super easy. I pretty much destroy him with this gun. You'll see here in a second, like 2 or 3 shots. I also like his design. I like his tattoos, and you know, this man, he enjoys a good bath. Nothing wrong with a good bath, guys. Come on. Besides that, that was my ranking for this 3rd DLC, and please still let me know if I am ranking these right, or if you guys like the way I'm ranking them. Just let me know. I love all your comments, so just, you know, hit me with them. Hit me, I could take it. And guys, now we are on the last DLC, which is the Krieg DLC, and this one is probably my favorite. Just because we have to learn a lot about Krieg and a lot about his backstory and a lot of the ways he thinks. You don't really get to see a way, well, you don't really see the way Psychos think. Now this one is at number 4, bottom of the tier, just because it's a train. Like, I can understand a little bit why it's here, but also I mostly don't understand why. I know the train does deal with like Borderlands 2 and them riding on it, but this train doesn't make any sense to me. All it does is run around, well, drive around, hit you with its body, and drop off little guys to hurt you. And the critical hit spot is right under it, so if you have a good gun like this one that does a lot of damage, easy boss. Besides that, it's yeah, that's probably why it's at the bottom, at number 4. Yeah, I'm sorry if it doesn't make any sense to you guys, but in number 3 we have Dr. Benedict. I don't really have much to say about this doctor. Just no reason he's really at number 3. I guess he could have been at 4, to be honest, but it's between this and the train being number 4, so I just said, you know, screw it. Dr. Benedict is number 3. Besides that, I just like killing him just because he created a lot of pain for our boy Krieg. The fight was interesting, especially when he turns the psychos into bombs. If you get close enough, they blow up and hurt you. Besides that, nothing too special about Dr. Benedict. Just don't get too close to him. But he also has a lot of long range ability as well. So just look out for those kind of things. Besides that, nothing too special about this man. Yeah, so he's number 3. And at number 2, I don't know if this is surprised or not. It probably is. I don't know. Don't ask me too many questions because I'm dumb. It's the final boss, and the reason I like him a lot is because look at him. He's a glowing man of strength, and I do like the way his armor looks, even though he has very little. The cage he's carrying around just kind of reminds me of Piranha Plant from Super Smash Brothers, like the campaign version where he like has people in the cages and he smacks you around with them. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry if that's the only reason he's at number 2, but you know, it's a super hard fight too. He does not. He takes damage very, very well. He eats that stuff up like it's sushi. And if you don't like sushi, then something easy to eat. I don't know. Besides that, I generally like this fight's interesting. It does change up after he gets about half health. He does become super big, and he just shoots a laser out of his stomach. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. Hopefully someone could give me a little background on why he shoots lasers out of his stomach, but besides that, he's at number 2. I like him a lot. He does give out good loot, and then after that you go into the vault. Yeah, so number 1 is actually kind of a two-parter, if that makes sense. I'll explain later, but the first part of it is Rick and Mordecai. Now, I do like the way Krieg thinks that they hate him. I also think that's like the psycho side of Krieg. He's thinking, well, these guys don't like me, and here's the reasons why. And I also just like the fact that Krieg thinks Rick is like super smart, and also he thinks Mordecai is just a bird, like a dum-dum who loves birds. It's pretty funny. Like, their personalities are so weird. Something you wouldn't expect from us. But besides that, that's why I enjoy this fight, just because we got to kind of see more things about Krieg, that like how he sees things through his eyes, if that makes sense to you. And then the second part of this is Lilith, which I'm sure you guys probably would have guessed. But yeah, this one is probably a good fight. Lilith was a little more difficult because all the damage from like her fire and her invincibility at the very beginning, like halfway part. She does a lot of damage, and fortunately she doesn't really spawn different enemies, so you can't really get back up that easily. But yeah, she was super interesting, and just the thought of the way Krieg thinks, that's probably why this is at number 1. I don't know. But besides that, guys, I appreciate you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hey, as I said earlier, hey, come on, I got more videos coming your way. I've totally made a new resolution that I want to focus on my YouTube channel more, my Twitch channel more. And you guys can also follow me on Twitch. I could put a link down there in the description for you, so you guys can always hop in. I also stream every Wednesday and Saturday on there, so please come check me out. I start about 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I finish about 11:30 to 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, but with that, guys, I appreciate you guys stopping by, and I love putting videos out. It makes me so happy. But besides that, guys, I appreciate you sticking by, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.